Ethan and Chloe started the same week at the same company in the same entry-level role, earning the exact same salary, $3,000 a month. They even joked about it in the break room. Guess we're stuck at the same starting line. Neither of them had savings worth mentioning. Neither had some sophisticated financial plan. Their entire strategy was basically the same: spend less than you earn. But 5 years later, their bank accounts told two completely different stories, and the gap between them had almost nothing to do with luck. Chloe did everything she thought she was supposed to do. She was disciplined. She packed her lunch instead of ordering takeout. She canceled subscriptions she barely used. She thought twice before buying things she didn't really need. And every single month, like clockwork, she put away $300. She was proud of that number, and she should have been. Saving consistently when you're starting out isn't easy. There are bills, unexpected expenses, weekends with friends, birthdays, car repairs, and 100 little things competing for every dollar you earn. But Chloe stayed consistent. Month after month, year after year, if she simply put away $300 every month for 5 years, she would contribute $18,000 of her own money. And because she invested those monthly savings, rather than leaving everything sitting in a checking account, an average annual return of around 8% would put her portfolio at roughly $22,000 after 5 years. That's good. That's responsible. That's real progress. But it wasn't life-changing money. Ethan's first 2 years looked almost identical. Same $3,000 monthly salary, same $300 monthly savings habit, same basic lifestyle. Nothing remarkable. But somewhere around year 2, Ethan made a decision that quietly changed the direction of his financial life. He realized there was a limit to how much he could cut. He could cancel another subscription, he could stop buying coffee, he could search for a slightly cheaper apartment, but there was only so much he could squeeze out of a $3,000 paycheck. So instead of asking only, "How can I spend less?" he started asking, "How can I become worth more?" Ethan looked around his company and noticed something. The employees earning significantly more than him weren't necessarily working twice as many hours. They had skills the company valued more, so Ethan started spending a few evenings each week learning one of those skills. Nothing dramatic happened at first. There was no overnight success, no viral business, no lucky investment. He simply became more useful. He volunteered for projects that gave him experience. He asked for more responsibility. He learned how the higher-paying roles in his field actually worked, and eventually, he used that experience to switch jobs for a meaningful raise. Later, he negotiated another increase as his skills and responsibilities grew. By around year 3, Ethan's income had climbed from $3,000 a month to roughly $5,000 a month, and that's when the difference between Ethan and Chloe started becoming much more noticeable, because early in your financial life, your savings account may not be your most powerful asset. Your earning ability can be. Think of your income like the engine of a car. You can become incredibly disciplined about how you drive. You can take the shortest route. You can avoid unnecessary detours. You can learn every trick for saving fuel. But if the engine is tiny, there's still a limit to how fast you can go. Sometimes you don't need better steering, you need more horsepower. Chloe had become excellent at managing the $3,000 coming in every month. Ethan was learning how to make that $3,000 become $4,000, then $5,000, and eventually more. But Ethan nearly made the mistake that destroys this advantage for millions of people: lifestyle inflation. When his first big raise hit, he felt it immediately. There was suddenly more money sitting in his account than he'd ever been used to seeing, and the temptation was everywhere. Maybe he could finally move into the nicer apartment. Maybe it was time to upgrade the car. Maybe ordering food 4 nights a week wasn't such a big deal anymore. Maybe the expensive phone wasn't really expensive now. After all, he could afford it. And that's exactly how lifestyle inflation works. Your income increases, your lifestyle expands to match it. And a few months later, somehow, you feel just as financially stretched as you did before the raise. A person earning $3,000 a month wonders how anyone could possibly spend $5,000. Then they start earning $5,000. And somehow, $5,000 starts feeling normal. That's because we adapt quickly to improvements in lifestyle. The nicer apartment stops feeling luxurious. The upgraded car becomes just your car. The expensive dinners become normal Friday nights, and suddenly the raise that was supposed to change your financial future has disappeared into your everyday life. Ethan caught himself before that happened, so he created one simple rule. Every time his income increased, at least half of the raise would go toward his future, automatically. If his monthly income increased by $1,000, at least $500 of that increase would go toward savings and investments. The remaining $500, he could enjoy it. No guilt, no obsessing over every dollar, no pretending he had to live exactly like he did when he earned less. This wasn't about deprivation. It was about making sure every raise improved 2 lives at the same time, Ethan's life today and Ethan's life 10 years from now. And this rule did something even more important. It prevented Ethan from becoming dependent on his entire new salary. Because once your lifestyle expands to consume every raise, reducing your spending later becomes painful. But if part of the raise never reaches your spending account in the first place, you never learn to depend on it. By year 3, Ethan was earning around $5,000 per month. And instead of continuing to invest only $300, he increased his investing to roughly $1,000 a month. Now, here's where the math matters. If Ethan invested $300 per month during his first 3 years, he would have contributed $10,800 before accounting for investment growth. Then, during years 4 and 5, investing $1,000 per month would add another $24,000 of contributions. That means, over the full 5 years, Ethan would have contributed roughly $34,800. Assuming reasonable long-term market growth during that period, his portfolio could be somewhere around the high $30,000 range by the end of year 5, depending on actual market performance. Chloe, meanwhile, continued investing $300 every month. Her $18,000 in total contributions could grow to roughly $22,000 at an 8% average annual return. So Ethan might finish the 5-year period with roughly $38,000 to $40,000 invested, while Chloe might have around $22,000. That's already a meaningful difference. But here's what surprised Ethan most. The biggest advantage wasn't the extra $16,000 or $18,000 sitting in his investment account. It was what was happening underneath those numbers. 5 years earlier, Ethan earned $3,000 per month and struggled to invest $300. Now his income had grown beyond $5,000 a month, and he had built the ability to invest around $1,000 every month without needing to make a new decision each time. The system was already running, his income was higher, his savings capacity was higher, his investments were larger, and his monthly contributions were more than 3 times what they had been when he started. That meant the next 5 years wouldn't begin at 0. They would begin with momentum. Imagine Ethan never gets another raise. He simply continues investing $1,000 every month. That's $12,000 in new contributions every year. Over another 5 years, that's $60,000 in additional contributions before investment growth. And that's when compounding starts becoming much more noticeable. The money Ethan invested during the first 5 years continues working. The new money he's investing every month starts working too, and any returns those investments generate can begin generating returns of their own. That's the snowball. And Chloe? She hadn't failed. That's important. She'd been responsible. She'd been disciplined. She'd built a financial cushion. She'd invested consistently. And she was still in a much better position than someone who spent every dollar they earned. The lesson isn't that saving $300 a month is pointless. It's that saving has a ceiling when income stays fixed. There are only 2 ways to create a larger gap between what you earn and what you spend. Spend less or earn more. And while reducing unnecessary spending is incredibly useful, eventually you reach a point where there's not much left to cut without sacrificing things that genuinely matter to you. Income doesn't have the same hard ceiling. You can develop a valuable skill, negotiate your compensation, move into a higher paying role, switch employers, take on freelance work, build a side business, earn certifications that increase your value, become better at something the market already pays well for. That's why, especially early in your financial life, spending 5 hours learning a valuable skill can sometimes have a much bigger long-term payoff than spending 5 hours trying to reduce your grocery bill by another $20. You need both. But they don't always deserve equal attention. So if you're trying to build serious financial momentum over the next 5 years, here's the roadmap. First, focus on increasing your income. Your ability to earn is one of the most powerful financial assets you have, particularly when you're young and have decades of earning ahead of you. Don't only ask where you can cut $50, ask what would make you worth an extra $500 a month, then an extra $1,000, then more. Second, protect yourself from lifestyle inflation the moment your income rises. Don't wait 6 months. Because once you've built your lifestyle around the bigger paycheck, pulling it back becomes much harder. Try Ethan's rule. Save or invest at least half of every raise before you get used to spending it. You still get to enjoy earning more. Your lifestyle can improve, but your future improves with it. Third, invest consistently. You don't need to predict which stock will explode next year. You don't need to become a professional trader. For many long-term investors, diversified, low-cost broad market index funds can provide a simple way to participate in long-term market growth. Markets will rise, markets will fall, some years will be great, others won't. The goal isn't to predict every movement. The goal is to keep contributing over a long enough period that compounding has time to matter. And fourth, stay consistent, because this is the part nobody likes. Financial progress can feel painfully slow at the beginning. You invest $300, then another $300, then another. Months pass, and nothing seems dramatic. There's no movie moment, no notification telling you, "Congratulations, you're building wealth." But eventually, something changes. Your investment returns start becoming meaningful compared with your contributions. Your income increases, your monthly investments become larger, and suddenly you're not pushing the snowball as hard. The snowball has momentum of its own. That's why wealth rarely comes from one brilliant decision. It's usually not one lucky stock pick. It's not one massive raise, and it's definitely not 1 month of extreme budgeting. It comes from a handful of ordinary decisions repeated for years. Increase what you earn, keep part of every increase, invest it consistently, avoid turning every raise into another monthly payment, and give the process enough time to work. Ethan and Chloe started on the exact same starting line, same job, same salary, same savings. 5 years later, the difference wasn't that one of them cared about money and the other didn't. Both did. The difference was that Chloe focused primarily on managing the money she already earned, while Ethan learned to increase the amount of money flowing into the system and prevented his lifestyle from consuming all of it. And 5 years from today is going to arrive whether you prepare for it or not. So maybe the question isn't, how much money do I have today? Maybe the better question is, what am I building today that will make my financial life different 5 years from now? A higher value skill? A better career, a stronger savings habit, an automatic investing system, because you don't need to transform everything this week. You just need to start moving the right things in the right direction. If this story helped you see wealth building differently, subscribe for more practical strategies like this, and tell me in the comments, 5 years from today, whose version of this story do you want to be living? Chloe's or Ethan's? Because the decisions that answer that question don't start 5 years from now. They start today.